Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello everybody, Michael Quarles with the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Welcome to Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully some of you took the advice of podcast 204 and went out there and made yourself uncomfortable by seeing and meeting people that wanted to sell a house, possibly needed to sell a house, could sell a house, exposed yourself verbally over the phone to folks, and attempted. That's what our business is all about, is putting yourself out, being in uncomfortable situations in the beginning so at the end you can succeed. Today we have podcast 205. It is 5 questions sent in. And remember, if you have a question, send it to support@michaelquarles.com. Before we get started, a couple business things. If you enjoy this show, please go to iTunes and give me a review. That is absolutely important. There are people that need to know about the show, and your reviews will help. Also, don't forget about the new Gold Coaching Program. It is a 6-month program where we are going to chat on the phone monthly and then 3 times a week. And the price point is, depending on how you want to do it, you can do monthly at $247 or a one-time fee at $1197. So either $247 a month or less than $200 a month, and you get a ton of knowledge in real estate investing. So don't forget about that. So here we go. Question number 1, is cold calling effective? Absolutely. Here's the thing that makes it effective. Someone actually doing it. So we can talk about it, but actually doing it. So let's do this. So let's look at the rules of cold calling for a second. I want you to cold call between 9 and 11 and 3 and 5 on alternate days, Monday through Friday. If you have to do Saturday, do not do Sunday. If you have to do Saturday, make sure it's later in the morning. So I would do 10 maybe to 12. And if I couldn't do that, then I would do the 3 and the 5. I would not do Sunday, probably. I think it may not go as well as you would want it to go on a normal day. Now keep in mind, here's your success rate. You get 1 in 100 if it's cold, 1 in 25 if it's a FSBO, sometimes 1 in 20, 1 in 20, 1 in 25 if it's expired. If it's active for rent, about the same. Increase your chances by being able to describe to the seller or the person that you're communicating with what you do. Another rule is to never let the phone ring more than 3 times. So if in your ear you hear 1 ring, 2 rings, and 3 rings, go ahead and hang it up, because what's going to happen is if you let it continue to ring, you're doing 2 things. 1, if someone does answer after the 3rd ring, they're going to be out of breath because they ran to the phone. And that's not nice to make someone run to the phone just to be a telemarketer on the other end, because that's what cold calling is. And the other thing it does is it slows you down. If they don't answer the phone in 3 rings, they're not close enough to the phone to satisfy rule number 1. And what you're doing is you're slowing your process and progress down. And I know it's more comfortable to hear a ring than to hear someone cuss you out or hang up on you or call you things or say, I need to sell my house. I understand that. But let it ring 3 times, more than 3 times in your ear, hang it up. Okay? Standing up's always easier than sitting down. You can have more energy standing up with your script and cold calling than you can have by sitting down. Be prepared. Have a script. Know what you're going to say. It's real simple. My name is Michael Quarles with I Buy Houses. We're looking for 3 and 4 bedroom, 2 and 3 bedroom, 17 and 20 bedroom houses in the neighborhood. We were wondering, who do you know that's planning on moving? That's the shortened version. There's a longer version of it. I don't go into it. Don't need to, because if in that question, if they don't respond positively, then I'm going to go to the person that will. So 1 in 100, I know you can talk to 16 people an hour. So divide 16 into 100. You know, that's how many hours is that? It's a little over 6. Call. And if you have 9 appointments, you're going to buy a house. So that's pretty cool if you think about it. What is that? 6 times 9 Then you got a little more than 6 times 9. So you have less than 60 hours of cold calling to find an opportunity. That's not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad at all. Who do you call? Anybody with a phone, okay? Don't tell them you know they have a phone, just call them. Don't tell them that you know they're this or that or anything else. Just say, hey, Michael Quarles with I Buy Houses. We're looking for 3 and 4 bedroom homes in your neighborhood. And I was just wondering, who do you know that's planning on moving? And go from there. You know, when they say, I know someone, get their information, go into the script. Question number 2. How can I work on my negotiation skills? Well, you need to get in my coaching program. For $247 a month or $1,197 one time, you get to get in the coaching program for 6 months. I will absolutely school you on negotiation skills. Let's face it, there's all kinds of reasons to negotiate. When you sign up for my coaching program, you'll buy more houses. As soon as you sign up, you're going to change your life. There's absolutely no reason for you not to sign up for my coaching, learn how to negotiate. Absolutely none whatsoever. Question number 3. How'd you like that for all my coaching students? Because they knew what I was doing. Question number 3. How do you go about finding good property managers for your rentals? Oh my goodness gracious. Whoever has the answer to that one, can you let me know? As man, I tell you what. See, the key word, a component in this sentence isn't property managers. It's good. It's incredible how many, okay, I got to be careful because I am a broker. I have a real estate license. How many, okay, hang on. I'm just going to say it because it's Michael Quarles' real estate show. I'm just going to say it's amazing to me how many unprofessional people are that have their real estate license that are in property management and, for that matter, realtors, brokers, and agents. But, so how do you find them? It's just a matter of calling around, getting references. You know, 3 or 4 or 5 people, you talk to them, you're going to figure out who's the one. And I was going over my uncle, he's renting a property that he has out of city. And I was going over it with him last night. Now, this was pretty cool. They sent a guy that doesn't necessarily read English as his primary language, but they sent him a contract in English, asked him to sign it with no interpreter agreement included. And I thought that was kind of crazy on their part. I guess that goes back to show you how, finding that good property manager. But anyway, they were going to charge him $50 a unit a month, which I thought was a reasonable fee. Of course, they're going to take any of the monthly late payments because they have to serve the 3-day notice, so that makes sense to me too. They're, of course, going to charge him for any of the unlawful detainer stuff. That makes sense to me. They're going to, if they're at their whim, schedule out the first $200 in repairs. Anything over that, they'd have to get his approval. That kind of made sense to me, but that was a little bit too vague for me. But then they wanted to charge him $400 for early cancellation. And poor guy, he's 89 years old. He's a former priest. He's not understanding what's in English anyway. So they really need to have it in the language or have an interpreter there for him. But of course, I'm not an attorney and I'm not going to say anything. But I was there, fortunately, to help him, guide him, and present him with the solution. But they wanted $400 for early cancellation, and it kind of made sense if you from the bird's eye, big view. But if you think about it, 50 times 12 is 600. So they're going to charge him $50 a month to rent his place. So in a year, that's $600. But if he wants to cancel it early, he's got to pay $400. But then they're not doing anything. And I said, Uncle. I said, Angel. His name's Angel. I said, Angel, we need to go $400 or the balance of $50 times the remaining months, whichever is less. And does that make sense to me? But so we really need to read these agreements and understand them. And then they wanted a 13-month agreement. I thought, but he's 89 years old. I'm not going to take over his property and manage it for him. So I'm thinking I'm gonna try my best to make sure he's here in 13 months. So we'll revisit this next year. But good property manager, just interview.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 4. What advice do you have for someone who struggles with focus and procrastination? Now, can we all raise our hand with sometimes focus, sometimes procrastination? I know I can. I mean, I was absolutely enjoying my couch yesterday. I was not focused on anything other than my fanny hitting that cushion and that TV clicker and whatever was on the 1,000 channels that I have. And that's all I cared about. I'm certain that I was procrastinating something I needed to do, more important than relaxation. But if I knew that was a struggle of mine, I would make sure I got up every morning and looked at the goals I wrote for myself the day before, like the evening before I went to bed. You know, the quiet time, the mental productivity time. So the time that you can actually think about things, you know, not before the beer or the glass of wine, but prior to before the beer and the glass of wine, not after. But when you can, because sometimes if you do it the other way, you come up with all kinds of stuff you don't need to do. Getting back to the focus and, see, I'm not focusing, sorry. Whatever you think about it the night before, you write down your 6 areas of life you want to accomplish the next day. And then you get up and you read that and you fall forward. You have a coach that, you say, hey, Mike, hold me accountable to whatever it is. And then be willing to take the advice. And it's a constant struggle for a lot of people. I have found that if we have mentors in the 6 areas of our life, if we have people that we've asked to help us hold us accountable, and we're open and forthcoming with our goals and our dreams and what we want to accomplish in life with our friends, then inevitably, if we ask our friends to call us a liar if we don't follow through with what we say we're going to do, well, shame on us. We should give our friends that authority, that ability, that we should ask them to promise to us that if they see us not doing what we said we wanted to do, to tell us about it, and have someone on all facets of your life that you can ask that. And I think it has to be further, and for all of us that are married and we have loved ones and boyfriends and girlfriends, I get all this, but this statement's not going to make any sense to some of us because we love our wife and I love our husbands and boyfriends and girlfriends so much that we think we can have them hold us accountable. Not really. I love my wife. Wife, I love you. If you really are struggling with focus and procrastination, don't ask your wife or your spouse or someone that you care about that loves you and you want love from to hold you accountable. Go ask someone that can piss you off. And pissing you off doesn't jeopardize a relationship. Because sometimes that's what you need, So find those people. Put it in place and so you can, fall forward. And keep going. Just write down, like I said, write down your daily goals the day before. Every 4 weeks, revisit your 4-week goals. Every 3 months, revisit your 3-month goals. So goal. Don't be afraid of success. I mean, so many people are afraid to fail. They're afraid of the possibility of success because of the possibility of failure. Well, screw failure. I mean, come on, guys and gals. Everybody fails. All right? I mean, raise your hand if you've ever got a question wrong on a test. Okay, so my hand just went up. So that was a failure. Who cares? You got them all, the rest of them right. Okay, that's what it is. That's what life's all about. It's just a question that you missed on a test. You study harder, you get it right the next time. That's all it is. So don't worry about it so much. But some of us are so afraid that we just don't, I'm afraid too. I know I'm rambling. I apologize. It's Monday morning. It seems like Mondays are great days for rambling for me. But I'm afraid too. And when someone says, I'm afraid to try. Well, I have a similar fear. I'm afraid to not try. Because, they're afraid to fail, and I'm afraid to fail too. So we can both use the same sentence. So someone would come to me and they say, Mike, I can't even think about sending out yellow letters or postcards or signing up for coaching because I'm just afraid it won't work. And for me, I'm afraid to fail. And what I mean by that for myself is I'm afraid to be poor. I'm afraid that if I don't do something, then things that I have will slowly be taken or quickly be taken away from me. So we have the same sentence we use. We're afraid to fail. Your failure is attempting. My failure is going backwards. Because I know attempting, whether it turns out super positive or not, is still better than not attempting at all. Because you can change little things as you attempt to make them better. It's called testing. Well, you can't test unless you start. There's no test there. So that's all I have to say about that. Number 5, I have approved $1,000 or more in discretionary funds every month and no savings. How do I best use this money to buy houses? Ooh, gosh. You do not have enough money if you only have $1,000 a month. Well, you have or more. Well, see, that's like 1,000 to a billion. I'm going to assume it's not 1,000 to a billion. Let's assume it's 1,000 to 1,100, so another 100. And no savings. See, I don't think that it's responsible to jump. See, jumping to me isn't just about going and spending money on whatever it is to be a real estate investor. Jumping is the beginning of the process to be a real estate investor. So that's jumping. That's like, okay, so Mike, I want to be an investor. And if someone asks and they said, I only have $1,000, what should I do? Well, save another 1,000. Why don't you prove to yourself over the next 90 days that you actually do have $1,000 discretionary income? Prove it to yourself. Why don't you, instead of buying postcards, yellow letters, phones, business cards, whatever it is, why don't you listen to like another 100 podcasts over the next 90 days of mine? Every month, put $1,000 in a savings account. Don't touch it. And if you think about touching it, you're not there yet. I mean, I'm like, put it there like you spent it on marketing and it didn't work. Just put it in a savings account for 90 days. Do that 3 months in a row. Prove to yourself you actually do have $1,000 a month discretionary income. And then now guess what you're going to have in 90 days? You're going to have a savings account. That's not a bad thing. And then in 90 days, let's get some business cards. Let's get some polo shirts that say I buy houses. Let's get some door hangers. Let's get some stuff. But we're not going to do any marketing. I want you to have your monthly income in a savings account. So whatever you make, let's assume for a second you bring home $3,000 a month. I want you to have 3 months of that as a minimum in a savings account. Yeah, but Mike, I want to go right now. I get it. I understand. that salivating, and you just you want to go eat a house kind of stuff. Let's plan this stuff. Let's jump, but let's not jump over a cliff. So save that money, but in 90 days you're gonna have $3,000. So that's enough. That's enough savings to say I'm going to start now. So now I'm going to start presenting myself as a real estate investor because it takes time to learn how to do this stuff. Maybe at that point you can afford the $247 a month for coaching and get coached up. Learn some embedded commands, some mimicking, some negotiation skills. Learn some terms and understanding how to do seller financing, sub-2 financing, some of those things. Learn how to do valuation. Learn how to, some of the core components of what you need to know to be successful. And start become comfortable telling people that you're an investor. Now, I know you're going to say, but Mike, I'm not an investor unless I buy a house. Yes, you are. Okay? The moment you think you are something, that's what you are. And if you think you're not an investor, then you're not. So we're both right. So 90 days after you have that, we're going to get some business cards, we're going to get some polo shirts, we're going to take some coaching, we're going to do some stuff. When you have 3 months worth of your income in the bank, then you can start becoming an investor. Because I know that if it took you 9 months, that you can afford $1,000 a month in marketing. I mean, that's sufficient. I'd like to see $2,000 a month, but 1,000's fine, okay? And you're going to have, if it takes you 9 months, you're going to have 6 months of just learning. And it's more than learning what sub 2 means. It's learning who you are, who people are, what causes people to react. How to introduce I know little stuff like my name is Michael Quarles. How to introduce yourself. How to do some of these things. How to become comfortable. Start some 6-packs. Go to some open houses. Start understanding and visualizing your success. Set some goals. So it takes you another 6 months. Who cares? 9 months out of your life to set yourself up properly is not a big deal. But here's what I can guarantee you, almost 100% guarantee you. If you don't do it this way, in 9 months, you won't want to be a real estate investor and you can't afford to be anything else because you will have spent all your money all this discretionary income and don't have anything for it. So let's go the other way. Let's plan to succeed instead of planning to fail or not having a plan and then failing. And I can't say it any stronger than that. Yeah, it's counterproductive for me because I could say, hey, let me sell you 1,000 Yellow letters right now and some business cards and let me get you in the coaching program day 1. And I don't need your money. You need your money. You need to start saving your money. And now if you've been doing it for the last 3 months and you've got $3,000 in a savings account, then fall forward. But don't put yourself in debt. Attempting to do something you don't know how to do and don't have direction on doing. Just because you're excited about doing it, because you read a forum post or you're on Facebook thing or you had insomnia one night and you saw an infomercial. Let's do this slow enough that we're successful, not so fast that we fall and never can get up again. So that's all I have. I appreciate you guys sending these questions in. One more time. Coaching program, $247 a month or one-time fee of $11.97 for 6 months. That's not a bad thing. Don't forget to give me some reviews if you guys like my temperament and what I have to say on these podcasts. I appreciate that. That's your way of telling me thank you. I get a lot of emails saying thank you. I appreciate those emails. But I also appreciate, going there and seeing some reviews and some rankings and what have you. And life is life. And if you don't have time, I understand. At least take the time to listen to the podcast. Hope it helps you improve your life. If there's a topic or a question, remember to send it to support@michaelquarles.com. Until next time, talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.